Hello everybody. This is our 1 week recap out of 2.5 weeks. So we are on day 6. It is Sunday, and we left Birmingham on Monday the 20th and drove from Birmingham up through Memphis, across Arkansas and through Oklahoma City to Red Rock Canyon campground, and then from there we drove from Hinton, Oklahoma through Texas, and then I got a speeding ticket in New Mexico, which, you know, will set me back a little bit. And then we spent a second night in Trinidad, Colorado, and then from Trinidad we moved up into Fort Collins. The day in Fort Collins, so we go to this state park. It's called Lowry State Park, and when I booked it online, it did not seem like very much, and I didn't really care very much because it was like, you know, one of those places that you just stop at, you know, getting to your destination. But it ended up being very beautiful, but there was a little bit of a problem here, and it's like I knew that it was going to be one of those places that you have to hike into. It was about, from what, well, I think it was 1.5 miles. It could have been 4 miles, and I just, you know, I don't know. The map was not very good. It was a primitive campsite, and you know, when we're pulling up into the park, I'm like, well, thank God it's not that mountain, you know, because this was pretty huge. I thought it was gonna be one of the smaller ones, but it was that mountain. And
if we were gonna hike it, we would probably have to hike up like 2,000 feet.
Yeah, there was a lot of elevation there, and
we both had like 50 to 60 pound backpacks on.
Because here, I'll show you our tent. There's our tent, and the tent is great for what we're doing, but it is not good for hiking into a campground. And so I probably, you know, made it 50 yards up, and
it did start storming.
It did start storming, and I think that it was best that we didn't progress past that point. So we ended up staying at a KOA in Fort Collins, and that was pretty nice. So those are always nice. And then from Fort Collins we moved up to Gros Ventre Campground that is outside of Jackson Hole.
And that's in Wyoming.
Yeah, in Wyoming. And that was beautiful. I thought that campground was also going to be kind of shitty, to be honest, but it ended up being incredible. The only downside was that there were no showers, and so the majority of people there, you know that there are no showers, and, you know, can kind of improvise other ways. And then there's also, it's set up into loops, so there's one bathhouse per loop with one water spigot. And so we're going to fill up our water jug that's in the back of my car, and some dude and his girlfriend are like in their swimsuits, and this dude has his balls up to the spigot, washing himself off. And I was just like, let's just go somewhere else. That's disgusting. But, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. So yeah, we spent 3 nights at Gros Ventre and went to the Teton National Park twice, and the campground was in the national park too, so that was really nice. Went out, had dinner in Jackson Hole. Let's see, what else did we do? We went and took a shower at your mom's friend's
at
condo.
my mom's friend's condo.
And I was pissed off because I could not find. The directions told you one place. You know, most of the time directions are pretty accurate, but this was anything but accurate. But we found it, and then went and got dinner. Yeah, so then and that's another thing. Jenny Lake,
Beautiful
the most
lake.
beautiful lake I've ever seen. You know, we did like a 7-mile hike.
Well, it ended up being like 8.5.
Yeah, when you
It almost
account
was 9.
when you account like how far you have to walk, you know, to get to the trailhead, you know, it was like almost 9 miles total. But by the end of it, I was like, dude, I want to swim in this lake. And you know, after hiking that much in the heat, you know, you could probably swim in anything. We came back the next day and it was a little cold, but I got in up until my neck, so I'm proud of myself there. So from there we went to, well, here we are now in Bozeman.
Yeah.
About a 4.5 hour drive from Jackson to Bozeman through the Teton Pass and through a whole lot of nothing in Idaho. So went and I just bought a guitar in Bozeman, and then we went to dinner at Texas Roadhouse, which was probably one of the strangest experiences of my life. Not much to it, but it was just really weird, and I was ready to get out of there. And then I went to Mass at the Resurrection University Parish. So, yep, that's 1 week.